Well, 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 we are the GoE, but what the hell is the GoE? Shall we find out? What do you reckon? Do you want to find out what a GoE is?
Yes.
Yes, I think I do.
Welcome to the Energy Show. Here we discuss the energy solutions to the problems of the modern age. It's all about emotional well-being. It's all about energy. And our happiness matters.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome, shining beings from all dimensions, all times, all spaces.
Greetings.
Every form, all the aliens as well, and the higher beings, everybody who wants to join us. Welcome all. So we've got a fun topic today. We're going to be discussing what the GoE is because we don't know anymore, because there's been unfoldments in the world over the last few years. And so, yeah, quick intro. I am Sylvia Hartmann, and I'm the instigator of this whole thing. I have to admit to being that, and yeah, it's been an absolutely fascinating ride.
I'm Zoe Hobden, Global Support Manager for the GoE, and very happy to be joining Alex and Sylvia on the Energy Show today.
And I am Sandra Hilawi, and I joined this GoE some 20-something years ago in its infancy, and I'm still here, and it's still the great place to be.
Yay.
Yeah, and my name is Alex, and I am the CEO of the GoE. And yeah, I've been here for the last 25 years or something like that. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, and so we're going to be talking about what is the GoE, which somebody asked me this, and I was like, where do I start? What should
That's
I
it, isn't it? The problem with that question is it's like saying, what is the world? And you say, well, a rock,
It's a ball.
seas
It's a
on
ball
it,
in space.
that doesn't quite cover what the world is, or the people on it, or what's going on, or the weather, or the sunshine. Yeah, or its place in the intergalactic universe.
Well, we could start with a few things that the GoE isn't. Well, it's not a cult.
Oh, that's good to know, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that might be worth saying. I don't know whether that's related to having been started by a woman, because women also start cults. But I really, right from the get-go, didn't want to start a cult, because that's completely counter to what I'm actually trying to do, which is to empower human beings, individuals, real people living in the real world to, just have a better life, have a happier life, have more fun. That's the mission here.
Sylvia, what is a
been
cult,
the mission.
in your opinion? So we're talking the same language. What is a cult, and how does the GoE differ from that?
Jesus Christ. What's a cult? A cult is a name for whatever isn't the current state religion, basically. It's when it's small and it starts and it has a person that's at the head of it, and they're the instigator for the cult. You always see, this is so unfair, because nothing ever comes into being without there being one person, a founder, an instigator. You wouldn't have this gigantic Disney company without Walt Disney. And many people have accused them of being a cult as well. But yeah, so a person has an idea, they start something, they tell other people about it, and that's basically the basics of it. Only a cult then uses all sorts of mind control techniques to brainwash the people who are in the cult.
I've got a good definition for a cult, Sylvia.
Go on then.
Definition of a cult is a religion that's less than 100 years old.
Yeah, well.
Because after 100 years, basically 100 years is enough time for the founder to pass on, and if there's enough of a following, then eventually that turns into a fully fledged religion with, cult worship of the original instigator. And I think that is also important to say that the GoE is not a religion.
No, it's
Therefore,
not.
by that logic,
Go on,
it
Sandra.
does not
Let's
follow
just
that
say
logic.
what it is as well, because when I explain and introduce the GoE, going back from the history, when there wasn't an organization, it was like, here's some great understandings, knowledge and tools for working with energy, which we had EFT as it was in the day. And how are we going to train people? How are we going to educate people? We need to have an organization to offer trainings to empower people and educate people about this area of understanding the self, our spirituality, our emotional response to life, and managing that. And that is what the organization set out to do. And that's how I introduced the GoE, Guild of Energists, and that we have these great trainings now that also evolve with time and new learnings as we push back the frontiers. So our trainings evolve over time, which sets us apart from some of the other organizations, and that we have a body of members who learn and apply and practice personally and in their professional lives the techniques to help the world be a better place. So
That's a really nice way to explain it. And it kind of covers the history of where we come from. So in 1993, I understood how this energy thing works. All at once, boom, whoa, yo, that was a lot of information download. And I tried to find a place where I could explain this, what I'd understood about energy. And in 1998, I came across the tapping, the EFT tapping, but there was lots of other tappings, a lot of other tappings, particularly thought field therapy back in the day. And I thought, here are people actually working with energy properly, and they're actually achieving a proper outcome, like being able to get rid of negative emotions, getting yourself out of a state of fear, anxiety, stress. And there was literally nothing like that in the psychology industry. There is still, to this day, nothing like that so reliably changes your emotions. And I thought, this is really cool. There's a lot of people interested in it. Perhaps I can sneak in what I've learned about energy through this EFT thing. So, and that's how I got tied up with EFT. I got tied up with EFT. And the other thing that I got tied up with EFT for was that the founder of EFT didn't like writing. He didn't like writing books, and he didn't like writing trainings. He was an engineer. And I'd been writing trainings since I was 20 years old by that time, for years and years and years and years. And I knew how to write a training. I also knew how to model something, because he didn't ever explain what he was doing. He just videoed himself doing the tapping sessions. And so you could watch that, but it wasn't a training. So then when it came to this point of, no, how do we bring tapping into psychology practice? You needed insurance for that. And in order to have insurance, get an insurance company to cover people who were tapping, we needed this whole structure of these trainings. And so I wrote them because Gary wouldn't. And I also wrote the first book on EFT, and it remained the first book on EFT in the world for 4 years. And that's how I got kind of tied with this EFT thing. But what I learned about energy was so much bigger than that. It was not about a method at all. It was just this huge thing. And as we were doing more research into this and learned more about it, how it works, 2002, EMO, Energy in Motion. This is where I met Sandra for the first time. So it's been 22 years since we've been together. And yeah, this is it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then finally I realized about 2014 that what I was trying to do wasn't teach people some method. I was trying to reconstruct the entire third field from the ground up. You've got mind, body, and spirit, and I'm trying to lay down the scientific foundations for the third field, all of it, because it doesn't have anything. We only have mind and body in the Western world. And this is killing the people. That's not just killing them, it's making them miserable and angry and sad, and it's destroying their life's journey, which shouldn't be like that. People shouldn't be, oh God, I could burst out into tears here. People shouldn't be so sad and angry all the time and hopeless. That's just so wrong. And this is because of that gigantic hole. Some people call it the God-shaped hole, but we're not dealing with God. I don't know what God is or whether it exists. That's completely irrelevant. You know, just leave that up to the individual.
That's a good point, Sylvia, that the GoE works with people who already have a religion. There's no need to stop your religion. In fact, what we do is complementary to it, because you'll get so many more insights. You'll get greater connection with yourself, with your God, with other people. And that's a good reason why people should start with the GoE, isn't it, Sylvia, I'd say?
Well, I'm just thinking of Sister Margarita Foley. She was a Catholic nun who came out of interest to one of our classes in Bexhill-on-Sea. And she was a member for many, many, many years, all the way until she died. And she could never, ever stop talking about how what she learned about energy from us allowed her then to do her morning prayers better, to have a completely different experience in channeling the things that she was doing, and how it absolutely transformed her spiritual practice, took it to a whole new level. And I just love that so much. And we have so many people from all sorts of different religions who are saying the same thing. This is and because of that, we're not a religion. So we're not a cult, and we're not a religion. And
can I tell a star story, Sylvia?
Please.
So at a EMO conference, there was a very old priest, probably in his 90s.
I remember that.
And so he was past his useful stage of service to the Catholic Church. So he was kind of relegated into a kind of like a priest old people's home. And so we were doing this exercise, this EMO exercise, and I just told him, to think about God. And that's quite an interesting thing to do to a man that has given his life to the service.
90
and
years.
I could see him clutching like this. And I said, I know what the problem here is. You think that God's love is finite. You think that by holding on to it like this, then really tight, because if you accidentally let your fingers a little bit loose, then God's love will flow through into like the sands and evaporate, and it will be gone. But what you've got to understand is God's love is infinite. It's like taking a cup of water from the ocean and thinking you have the ocean. And I said, so all of a sudden I could see him relaxing, and I'm saying, that's right. Just think of God. And I knew that meant something very different to him than me. But I just went with his beliefs, his belief strategy, belief system. Think of God and just realize that God's love is infinite for you, and just let go and just imagine like that, or just feel that energy, that incoming energy, just come through you. And that was so funny. In the evening time, at the party we had that night, he got out of his wheelchair for the first time in months, years, and he was dancing along. And his carer was just said, "I can't believe the difference. Like, this is just
that's so beautiful.
A miracle." And it wasn't a miracle. It was just helping this man. Helping this man just reconnect with his spiritual side, in essence, isn't it? That what is missing from society.
Something that I might like to add there. How old was your aspect, Alex, at the time you worked with this 90-year-old Catholic priest?
I must have been, 28? Something like that. Very young.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
So there's just
exactly.
that is really quite something, because see, energy is structural, it is scientific. That's what I'm always banging on about, love and logic. It's not crazy, it's not insane. It is completely scientific, it's predictable. And that's why we need the third field. And that's what I want to build, which seems completely ridiculous for, our grandmother from Eastbourne to be wanting that. But that's what I feel the world needs, absolutely, utterly needs before anything else.
I thought actually,
So-
Sylvia, just to add to the priest story, it's an interesting dynamic to think of me being a young man, but still a man. Maybe that connected with this priest in a different way to if a lady had done that exercise.
Totally,
with him.
absolutely, totally, 100%.
Maybe that was the energy he needed.
Yes.
More of a masculine energy. Maybe
Yes.
that connected with him and that helped him in a way that I have no idea. But
Yes, I completely agree.
I sense thinking about him being a priest and spending his time with other priests.
Yes.
Maybe that was a factor. I don't know, but
That
certainly,
was definitely, I would definitely
something
say.
scientific research could look into.
Yeah, these are the sort of things that we need to urgently research. And nobody does that. They're doing these crazy things, spending millions of this crazy, useless research that helps nobody, while the society is burning. The children are going insane. The riots are in the streets, Urgh.
Just out of interest, ladies, how would you
I'm getting frustrated.
How would you feel about the energy difference between seeing a male practitioner and a female practitioner? Would that be something that you would notice?
Oh God, yeah. Me totally. Absolutely 100%. I'm completely aware of that.
So in fact, what I'd say is that maybe the male energy and the female energy is different, is useful for different problems, I guess, or different solutions that you're trying to find. Is that an apt?
I have to say
would that
something.
resonate with you too?
I have to say something to that.
Sylvia.
Once you get into this energy thing, you can actually shift energy into a different state. I have had personal experience of becoming paternal male gothic, shifting my energy state and becoming a dominant male in a situation. That's only happened a few times to me, but I can do that. And knowing that I can do that means it can be done. You can become much more female or much more male as you're shifting your energy, if you're working with a lot of people over time. But while we're on the topic of the priests, I need to tell a star story as well.
Go for it.
So my aspect some years ago is sitting in a bar in Pennsylvania, very rural Pennsylvania, on a bar stool. And it's the only female, unaccompanied female there. This gentleman is coming up to me, the kind of reasonable looking gentleman, and he starts telling me that he is the priest of the local church, and that God told him for unknown reasons that he should be coming to this pub on this night, and clearly this was in order to meet me.
Ooh.
I thought, that's a chat-up line that I have never heard before.
I'm writing this down as we speak.
I wonder how successful this is in general. But anyway, so we got talking about things, and I didn't tell him various things about my doings. Like I ran a website at the time called Magic Spells and Potions. So I didn't tell him that. But I was trying to kind of just chat to him and keep him away from me, basically, and asked him what the biggest problem in his congregation that he found, and every Sunday there, what the biggest problem among his congregation. And he just cried out, "It's the sin, the burning pain of sin." And I'm like, that's really interesting. And where do you feel that burning pain of sin in your body? And his hands they were so fast, you couldn't see them. There were streaks of light straight clamping onto his genitals.
Wow.
I wonder who he was talking about.
And I'm like, wow, this is extraordinary, right? And I'm like, okay, that's where it's located. Without looking down, that's where it's located. Now bring in the light of Jesus, the powerful light of Jesus, the bright white light of love of Jesus to heal that sin, heal it now. And he's like, I'm thrashing around, falling off the bar stool, rolling around on the floor. And then all of a sudden he went, oh my God, it's gone. It's gone. I'm healed. And I'm like, Can I have another brandy and Coke? No ice, please. But yeah, I mean, come on, guys, this isn't hard. The bright white light of Jesus is perfect healing vibration, right? And if you are in that religion where you've been brought up to believe in that and you're a real follower of Jesus and all that, this is so fucking powerful. I said the word. I said the cursey word. Oh no. Never mind. It is very, very powerful. Let's try and say. And it's simple and it's easy. Where do you feel that in your body? Show me with your hands. But we're getting sidetracked here because we were supposed to be talking about what the GoE is. I have a swipe. May I play a swipe?
Go for it.
Bring it on.
Wow.
Wow.
Love all that energy.
Yeah, and so for me, this is what the GoE is about, is the GoE trainers. It's not about me. I'm completely aware of the fact that I'm very unique and individual, very personalized person through my life's experiences. And that it's no good me knowing this stuff and me telling people, and then I die, and that knowledge, this essential knowledge, which is needed in the Western world beyond all measure right now, is going to die with me. This is no good. So right from the get-go, I was like, okay, I'm going to create the trainings, I'm going to test the trainings, but I'm not going to give the trainings because they have to be given by other people, by many people who can tell many other people, right? And we're not talking about this cult thing where you got your cult leader somewhere in Madison Square Gardens and you got thousands of people and blah, blah, blah. And that would be nice money-wise and all that. But that doesn't guarantee that it'll move forward into the future. And for me to be able to see what happens when I write a training and somebody who is not me gives that training, while I'm still alive, gave me the chance over the last 30 years to refine those trainings, to really, really think about what's the important message here. How do we teach this? How do we make it so that people understand it and and really simplify it? Because this isn't, at the end of the day, this isn't brain surgery. And it shouldn't be taught like some kind of psychology course, because it's not, it's simple. So it's about the trainers. And I would like to share a screen, if I may. Hopefully we can do this. So obviously we have trained many, many people over the years. Sandra has trained many, many, many more people than I ever have. This is an absolute fact. But I thought bring forth a trainer who stands for them all. And this is really the person that I was going to talk about. Let's just go back if we can. Can we go back? Don't know. But this is
Katerina
Kalchenko. She is from the Ukraine. And she first came to us, this very first picture that you saw, and this is close to this one here in the middle. She came to us first in 2014 to take her trainer's training. And since then, she's gone on to train an awful lot of people in the Russian language and in the Ukrainian language. And so she's just really literally a normal person who had a desire to do some good in the world, basically. And so what I did was I was going to make a slideshow with pictures of Katrina and her students. But it turned out it's been 10 years. It's overwhelming. Literally, it's insane when you take the 10 years of this one normal trainer into consideration. So I ended up just taking some screenshots from Facebook. These are her own Facebook things. And I'll just play them and we can talk about them as they flash by, because they're literally just 10 years are going to go by here in 3 minutes or so. And as you can see, there's small groups, little groups, one person on a stage. Later on, you'll see her on TV as well. And as I was putting this together, well, I thought this is all about confidence, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This is all about confidence. The confidence to know that something that you're talking about is easy to understand, it's true and right. You can put yourself 100% behind it, you can use your own words, and you can give people something that literally will change their life. You often hear that will change your life, but modern energy does change people's lives in a completely different way.
And you can make a living changing people's lives in a positive, happy way. There's not many careers that you can choose that would do that for you.
It's also like exponential, isn't it? One person is trained to take over.
Alex, you've got mic problems.
Oh,
That's better. Repeat what you said.
I was saying that it's exponential, isn't it? One trainer sees, I don't know, 100 people over a year. Those 100 people tell a few people each, then they tell a few people each. It's a ripple. One trainer can be the source of a ripple that goes so far. Thousands of people, thousands of miles. Just bring a little bit more joy into the world.
Yeah, so, and in the context of what is the GoE, it's at the bigger level, beginning of the third field. At the practical level, it's all about the trainers. Literally all about the trainers. We have practitioners also who see individual people, and that's lovely. Love that. It's much needed, desperately needed, in fact, overwhelmingly needed. We have like a few hundred practitioners. If all of a sudden the entire world keyed into what modern energy can do for you on the practitioner level, on the therapy level, on the healing level, they'd be completely overwhelmed.
Mm.
Completely and utterly overwhelmed. But I like the fact that if you are learning these skills for yourself, first of all, as a self-help tool, that empowers then one individual. They can spread that to their family, to their work, to their friends. Not spread as in preaching, but they can explain this to them, what's happening. This final one, let's just pause that here a minute. This was in 2016 or something. The interesting thing about that photo is that Katerina was one of the very first people to do the new modern energy tapping that uses the power of the positives.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things. When you have a trainer certificate and I make a new course, you only have to take it and then you can teach it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always thought was a really nice idea. That's such a good picture, isn't it? Eastbourne in the back. I do miss our conferences, our live conferences. Cool. So we can.
Yeah, great job, Katerina. Great work.
Yeah, bravo.
Yeah.
And all our trainers, of course.
And while we're there, let's just, what is the GoE? Let's do that one. Let's just talk through it as it goes through. We have members all over the world, literally all over the world. Ukraine, Brazil, Nigeria, America, Ukraine, Russia, Thailand, everywhere. Sweden.
This goes back to what you were saying earlier, Sylvia, about, that you don't teach it, the trainers teach it. And if the trainers are teaching in their country and in their community, they are the best people to do that. They understand their cultures, their communities, what people want, how to resonate with people.
Yeah. And
one person can't do that across the world.
No. And also using their own words, their own language, but still explaining the major concepts. I mean, that's one of the key things that I have tried to create something, the foundation of it, the foundation that people can understand and will enjoy it. And it makes me super happy to see all these smiling faces from all around the world, you know?
It's very heartwarming, actually. And also, I recognize so many people in there. It's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yes,
I
I
love those
recognize
guys.
them.
I love those guys, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The GoE's
know.
a family.
And I miss the live trainings, actually, since we, COVID times and we're doing a lot online.
Yeah.
The live training is just so wonderful. It's just motivating me to see, can I get some live trainings going again?
Yes.
Mhm.
This is something that we really need to do. We need to get
Yeah.
back together in our
Get back
communities.
to live. Yeah.
Get over this hideous thing that happened to all of us.
Mm. Mm.
That really is something that we all have in common. All around the world, we've all been through a truly hideous thing. You know, some of us have fared better than others in other countries. Oh my God. But yeah,
I
so
love that. Oh,
it's really nice to see, isn't it?
Mm.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to
Oh,
talk
you
and
are.
comment when I'm getting. It's difficult to say anything really because I keep looking at all the happy faces, the smiles, the energy that comes out of these faces is incredible.
Mm. And see, something else that the GoE isn't, I think that here's a good point to be talking about this, is what the GoE isn't is an MLM, multi-level marketing company. We're not one of those. Would we have more members if we behaved like that because the method is tried and true? Yeah, sure. Would we, as the founders, get all the money and all the people out there would go bankrupt? Yeah, sure, like all MLMs, out there. House of Cards,
No,
just about money and profit.
Look at them.
That's not why we're here. That's not why I'm here. That's not what I'm here for.
No, we couldn't run a modern energy organization under such horrific practices.
Oh, you could, totally could. In fact,
It would kill it.
It has been offered to me on many occasions by various people on along the way that we should sort out our advertising and our marketing and the promises that we make and put our prices up and all that. And I'm like, no, because I'm trying to build something that lasts. I'm going to try and start something that is a good thing and that lasts because it's important. It's important for people to understand. But see, well, I love that after all these years, we're now at a point, this is about confidence, the confidence in the material and the confidence in the person who is presenting that material to a school board, to a school, to an entire auditorium, on television, wherever, to 3 people in their room, to their sister-in-law.
Aww.
Well, that was very nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen such a collection of all those images in one go before.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, we have a ton more.
Yeah. You had to stop, didn't you? You had to stop.
There's some more. I mean, yeah.
I know Sandra has, we could do an hour just with
Just
Sandra's
going
pictures.
through my own ones
Yeah.
from Facebook.
Yes.
But, yeah.
And each
Be an
one of these
interesting
people,
exercise.
and each one of these people takes away from these courses this thing that there may be something happening. They may be involved in a traffic accident. And instead of freaking out, they're realizing, oh, wait a minute, it's only energy. And they act in a more sensible fashion and save themselves or save their family or do something beneficial and positive instead of running around like a headless chicken. And this is what I think about, all those timelines. And once you've seen this energy thing, you cannot unsee it. It's like once you've seen on the Amazon package Jeff Bezos's penis, you cannot unsee it. You cannot look at that logo and not see it. And it's like that with modern energy, because probably just because it's true, Once you kind of see it, see the truth of it, you can't unsee it. And that's why I think of modern energy in terms of it's really actually life-changing.
I think one of the things, I can't comment on other organizations, but one of the things that I really appreciate in all the trainings that I've learned, for me as in my personal life and as a practitioner and as a trainer, is the structure and logic of energy.
Yes.
That it is so logical, that it is a structure, that there are principles at work, and that when you just get that, you can evolve any situation. You can just apply those principles and pretty much predict the outcome, even though we won't presume to say that, but you can kind of anticipate what's going to emerge from an energy process evolution. And that's an amazing core of like knowledge, and it is simple. It is simple. And it does give you the power to look at any situation, relationships happening, yourself, and make some evolution and change, just applying the principles. So I think that's a real kind of treasure that has been brought into the light through the GoE's trainings and the work that you've done, Sylvia, through the trainings to give that knowledge and structure to people.
Can I tell a star story?
Go for it. We love star stories.
I was at an energy conference in Toronto, in Canada, and there was this breakfast provided. And so at breakfast, I was going around picking up some items, and a lady came over and said, "Oh, you're Alex, aren't you, from the GoE, or the AMT as we were known back then?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, yeah, it's so good what you guys are doing. It's incredible. You see, I'm into anything. Like, I love everything spiritual. I love my crystals. I love my scented candles. I love my Reiki. I love it all. However, my husband, he's a scientist, and he only loves what Sylvia's doing with EMO."
I love that story.
I thought that contrast between, oh, yeah, I don't care. Bring it on. Bring angels, yeah, whatever. Spirit guides, yeah, bring it on. Want me to do some yoga? Want me to do some Pilates? Yeah, I don't care. Just bring it on. But my husband, he's a logical man. And that's why he only likes what Sylvia's doing.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, well, this is comes right back. See, I believe that what happened there with me in 1993 is I saw a tiny little piece of something, the reality, the truth, something. For some reason, in that moment, I glimpsed something that completely changed my life, and it's changed a lot of people's lives by now over the last 30 years. And I have been really rigorous about this. I'm German, and I'm scientifically minded, and I am absolutely allergic to bullshit. I am allergic to bullshit. And the New Age, the way the Westerns went into energy with the New Age, with all this mumbo jumbo of the ages, like a garbage pile of bits drawn from here and there and then badly stitched together. It just did my head in. Yes, there was interesting sensations about it. There was something there, but it was just so unorganized. As a German, it just drove me crazy. It needed to be sorted out because the thing is, it's real. And because it's real, you can scientifically observe it and you can replicate it. Because it's real, right? And so let's go back to our original question. What is the GoE? May I just, I have another swipe. Let us think about it for 30 seconds while I play this.
You are not who you think you are. You are more, you are better, and I can prove it. Try the best personal development method in the world for free. Go to starmatrix.org, escape the nightmare of trauma, and come home to your true self. Develop a brand new sparkling self-concept. Connect with your star powers and find a new path to healing your life. star matrix is the way.
Oh, wow, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So we've had a new thing turn up. We thought we were all sorted in 2016, and then Star Matrix happened. What were you going to say, Sandra?
Well, I actually wanted to point out, again, a difference between different kind of organizations who are in this energy field, that we are alongside. And that when I've been asked over the years, well, what's the difference between, like the AANET and the GoE or what, this organization and the other. And the point that you're just making here is important, because many organizations have gone down the path of trying to reach accreditation and recognition by establishments, which is a very valuable thing to do for everybody, for the wider field.
Try.
However, what that means is the trainings are fixed. And because the time it takes to get things accredited and accepted, and then if you're doing a variation on it, that's not accepted because it's a variation. So you either have to go through another process. And so the trainings are kind of more maybe as they were, whereas the GoE has been with your research, exploration, discovery, experience, learning. We've actually evolved the trainings over the history, going from the classical days, which we all started similar to everybody else, EMO coming along, bringing the energy model, that coming into energy EFT. So we brought energy into EFT, and then now we're evolving again, modern energy, and now coming into Star Matrix. So for some, that's like a lot of change, but it's about evolution and learning, and that's about energy flow and movement, which is what we're about. And
yes.
So whilst we haven't gone down the path of getting accredited by the government or the NHS or whatever like that, because the process is so long and things have to stay fixed for that in many ways.
There is another thing, though.
We've evolved.
Here's another thing. That's the problem why I have refused to go down the accreditation path. In order to get accredited, you have to downplay the importance of energy and in fact not mention it at all. Because energy doesn't exist. It's not accepted. Only stupid people believe in energy, right? So there is no space for energy, literally, because we've got the mind, body, with the spirit part completely cut off and thrown in the rubbish bin. But what happens when you take the energy out of a technique such as EFT energy tapping? You are breaking the back of the technique itself. And what that leads to is it becomes ever less effective as it goes from one trainer to the student to the next. Because they've taken the one thing that actually makes this whole thing work away. And you're left with an empty shell where people are just sitting and tapping without understanding what it is that they're doing, and thus will bring down the effectivity of it more and more and more and more, until a point is reached where people are saying, it's just stupid and it's not very effective, and we tried it in a laboratory on mice and it didn't work and the p-values weren't there. Just chuck it out altogether. But that's because they can't. I mean, I understand that they can't say this is an energy technique. This is tapping on meridians, which are energy flows according to the old Chinese, but we don't believe in it. So we're not just pretending it's a pattern interrupt, or it's a fascia stimulation or some other baloney, which this is the thing. You take the energy.
I always like
out.
Sylvia, you know the tapping robot. So
Yes.
They wanted to see if it makes a difference between a human finger
Yes.
and just something that stabs at your face.
A rubber. They had a rubber
a-
machine tapping on people. Yes.
Sylvia, it's a really, really good point. You take the energy out of it and you kill the spirit of it, and that's our
The effectivity,
business.
the engine that drives it, the motor. You're killing the thing. You're killing
Yes.
it.
I
And
was
you're
going to add as
wasting
well,
your time
Sandra's
learning it or teaching it. I'm sorry, this is
I was going to add to Sandra's point as well. Like, this is such a fast-moving field. If we locked everything back in time down and just taught the same old thing over and over and over again, that is the same as a Ford making his Model T car and us still driving that 120 years later. That's like going to Gatwick and expecting to see one of the Wright brothers' planes waiting for everyone to clamber on board and take off. You know, it's like having this, you know, a Spectrum computer that you have to put a tape drive in to make your game play in half an hour. You know, locking us down to how the research said things were the best to do 20 years ago is not the best way to help the modern human today.
And,
should we talk about Star Matrix?
Yes, and evolution is a natural process, a spiritual process. So in the GoE, we're evolving also. So with our individual selves, with our learning, with our courses, evolution is natural and healthy and good. So now we've evolved.
The whole basic idea, what I'm trying to do here is to allow people to access their own resources, that they are more efficient in whatever it is that they are doing, right? That's the idea here, to giving people a chance to evolve, if you want to call it that, but go forward in life and wake up a little bit and become a little bit more active and less afraid and less scared and all those things. So it's that's the idea behind all the methods and techniques. It is to try and help people understand themselves better and the world, how it works, trying to transmit that little tiny bit of truth, that little edge of truth that I saw there on that man.
I think for so many people, you know, life happens, you know, the world is a horrible place for a lot of people, you know. Even if you have a privileged life, you still come across adversity, stress. You know, we can't take that away. But what we can do is we can give you something you can do. We can give you a toolkit. So you can say, I'm feeling stressed. How do I raise my energy? Just being able to, like, your mission in life, Sylvia, is to get the energy chart in front of as many people as possible, because they understand fundamentally, my energy is low. I recognize that. And what can I do to get it up? And just that the wheel just spinning the other way, just that change, you know, and then all the other stuff comes.
There's also another really cool side effect. You know, there's TikTok videos where you get all these women called Karens screaming and going berserk and shouting for the manager and screaming and throwing themselves around on the floor.
Proceed anyway, Sylvia.
Well, have you never seen one of these on TikTok or YouTube Shorts where there's some woman who is just going absolutely fucking crazy?
You can go to.
It's amazing how different everyone's TikTok is.
Anyway, point being,
father, I won't tell you what my father sees then.
Just never mind. So this is a thing, and it's a thing. But I saw somebody who had recently learned about the modern energy chart see one of those videos come up and just gone, that's -7, isn't it? And I thought, that's so interesting, because that is exactly the type of person who, without knowing the modern energy chart, would have gone, oh, look at that stupid woman, she's so crazy, they're all like that, all women are insane, what the hell is going on here? But instead of that, he just took one look and said, that's -7, and that completely changes the way he felt about the woman on the video. Completely changed everything about it. He just diagnosed her with being clearly gone beyond stress to the point where she's now throwing herself around like a 2-year-old. Doesn't know what the hell she's saying anymore. Totally freaking out.
Sylvia,
he's
we
not
are
angry.
running out of time. Please summarize Star Matrix for us. And
Well,
then
what that
let's
has to do with what is the GoE?
and then let's just conclude. We need to leave our lovely listeners with a definitive, concrete statement.
Definition of what the GoE is.
We cannot promise people a energy show called "What is the Leap?" is the GoE. So yes.
Well, we can leave. I learned. I was at a Star Lab last night, and I learned that a good teacher can leave students with questions. And that these questions are actually what drives the student forward to discover for themselves what the answer might be, and might really inspire the students to go forward and learn more on their own behalf, because they want to know. So perhaps we can leave it like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, what is the GoE?
What do you think is the GoE? Leave a note in the comments.
Yes, please do. I think that we are on the threshold of a big shift in the GoE. That the essential thing, which is, well, to, bring the third field in, the science of love, the underlying method, that it will never change as far as at least I'm alive. Because we need that. Mind, body, spirit, we need the spirit part back. It's needed. It's really, at the end of the day, we need a solution. So that will not change at all. But Star Matrix is a right interesting trump in the pack. And I apologize for using that word. That will trigger many, but I meant those aces that you get with the crowns on in a pack of playing cards. Those were what I was referring to. Star Matrix for me is like a star on the top of a Christmas tree. It is like, yes, this is the connection that we need. This is that thing that will move us forward. We've got the conference coming up in November 11th. Hopefully by then I will have figured out how exactly that will work, because I will have to make one of those amazing keynote speeches, like the one from 2011, the third field. Anyone who wants anything to do with the GoE should really read that. That's my keynote speech called The Third Field. You can find it on goe.ac, or just put it in the search engine, it will pop up. And I also, Alex, I did say this, and I'm going to say it publicly now. We are going to petition the King of England to give us a charter to start a university.
Long overdue, too.
This is the reason why we're called the Guild of Energists, because the guys that got that a charter from the King in England in the Middle Ages, they were guilds before they became universities. That's why I called us the Guild of Energists, because that was my long-term plan, that we're going to actually have a proper university finally dedicated to researching, studying, and teaching energy.
Hear, hear, Sylvia, hear, hear.
That's my long-term plan. I let the cat out of the bag.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Sandra. It's been a fun energy show.
Oh, yeah. It's we could talk about these things for hours, couldn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks, everybody, for watching. And, yeah, do leave a comment and let us know what you think. And questions. Yeah,
and suggestions. And an elevator pitch for me. If somebody ever asks me again, what the hell is the GoE? But perhaps we're going to figure it out one day. Who knows?
And if you have any star memories, like my priest and my lady at the Toronto conference, then write those as well, because they're just loaded with energy. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye. See you next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.